The senior senator from the great state of Utah is a Republican named Mike Lee. He's held that job for a little over a decade. And on January the 6th, just as the attack on the Capitol was getting started, Senator Lee's cell phone rang. Here is how he remembers it. Quote, "The caller ID indicated that the call was coming from the White House. To my great surprise, it was President Trump on the other end of the line. There was a lot of noise and commotion in the room, but I thought I heard him say, 'How's it going, Tommy?'" Tommy? Who's Tommy? Turns out the president dialed the wrong number. He was looking for this guy, Tommy Tuberville, the newly elected senator from Alabama. Senator Tuberville was a vocal supporter of Donald Trump's big lie. And that's why the president was trying to call him on January the 6th to ask him to try and delay the certification of the election in Congress. Instead, the former president got Mike Lee on the phone by mistake. And yes, Mike Lee is a Republican, but there was a reason that the president was not calling him on purpose to try and get him to go along with his scheme to overturn the election that day. Senator Lee was not a vocal public proponent of Donald Trump's big lie. He voted on January the 6th in favor of certifying the election results for Joe Biden. Mike Lee told journalist Bob Woodward that he personally looked into some of Trump's claims of supposed voter fraud and did not think any of it checked out. He says he disagreed with Trump's claim that Vice President Pence had the authority to stop the certification of the election. By all public accounts, Utah Senator Mike Lee portrayed himself as a proud defender of the Constitution, someone with absolute fidelity to it. But it turns out, in private, Lee was actually just pushing for a different way to overturn the election. Today, CNN was first to obtain text messages that Senator Lee sent to the president's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, in the few weeks after the election. These are text messages that have been turned over to the January 6th investigation in Congress. I should mention that NBC News has not yet obtained or verified these texts. In the messages, Mike Lee repeatedly says that there is only one surefire way to overturn the election, and it has nothing to do with conspiracies about suitcases full of ballot papers or Italian satellites or Krakens. It's about the fake electors scheme, the idea that states that actually went for Biden could submit a fake slate of electors to Congress for Trump, so that if Mike Pence refused to certify the results, these fake Trump electors would be on record to flip the election in Trump's favor. On December the 8th, a few weeks after the election, Mike Lee writes to Mark Meadows, Trump White House chief of staff at the time, quote, "If a very small handful of states were to have their legislatures appoint alternative slates of delegates, there could be a path." A month later, he raises his concerns about the way his Senate colleagues have gone about trying to cast doubt on the legitimacy of the election results. Mike Lee wants the president to know that his fake elector scheme has a much better shot of success. He says, quote, "I really think this could all backfire badly unless we have legislatures submitting Trump slates." Later on that same day, he hits it again. "We need something from state legislatures to make this legitimate and to have any hope of winning. Even if they can't convene, it might be enough if a majority of them are willing to sign a statement indicating how they would vote. And I've been working on doing that all day today." Here's why this matters so much right now. The fake elector scheme is a play that Republicans could very likely try to run again to overturn the election results in 2024 if the Democrats win the White House again. It is truly shocking to hear a sitting member of the Senate advocate for such a plan. Though actually, maybe a little less surprising coming from Senator Mike Lee, given that he tweeted right before the 2020 election that he does not believe the United States is a democracy. So what do we do to save our institutions when the people constitutionally tasked with protecting them are in fact the ones who pose the biggest threat?